Alright, we've jacked up this car in the air, and we're gonna look at the suspension and chassis and also the ladder frame. So you see, for this brand new Amg G63 2019 model, it got a brand new air suspension and the ladder frame. The ladder frame is totally different. It's nothing like before, and it's stronger. It's 55% stiffer, and the torsional stiffness is a lot stronger. Even though it's just 170 kilogram lighter, but it doesn't really matter. The body and the car is very, very strong. This is 9-gear transmission. This is a steel plate right here. Steel plate right here and a steel plate right here. This is the front axle differential lock, and this is the rack and pinion structure. This triangle thing is really strong, and you can see up there is another triangle structure that holds up the whole, double wishbone front suspension. So this one, right, little one right here, and that one on the top. This double wishbone front axle really enhanced the stability and the driving performance, especially the driving experience from the driver. And it's got, very adaptive to the road conditions, and you have a lot of choices from the menu. You got sand, rock, slippery, like the mud. Also you got Sports and Sports Plus. This thing will try to adapt it to what you selected, and it's really helping to stabilize the car when you drive it fast. And for the front, it got 4 links. And this is transmission oil pan. This is the transmission electronic control. And this right here, aluminum structure that holds its both ends is on the ladder frame. The ladder frame is totally new. It doesn't really have anything from the previous generation. Above the first aluminum rack, there is a connection in between. As you can see, this stays on this rack to hold the weight on the car. It enhances the stability and also the driving performance. And this is the second one. It's directly connected to the body, not the frame, not the ladder frame. So it just enhances the stability and the torsional stiffness. And this is the transfer case. And from the transfer case, the torque has been divided into 40, 60, 40 in the front, 60 in the rear. So it got very good stability and also the driving performance. When you drive this car really fast, it's going to be very, very interesting. And this thing can do actually the head-up thing. It's really extraordinary. When you have this 2.5 car and you can accelerate from 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds, and there are some media saying it can do 4.0 seconds. So that's crazy. It's just faster than a lot of smaller cars out there. This is the gas tank. It's the same size on both sides. And this is the rear differential. This is similar, but they got an electronic control right here. So previous generation is air pressure, and this generation is rely on the electronic control. It's a robust system, robust structure, so it can actually lock the differentials a lot faster than before. So it's really awesome to have this kind of device right here. For this, it can actually adjust the damping on the rear axle, So it really enhances the stability and everything. And this place is quite empty, and people say they can add another extra gas tank underneath it. So you see this linkage right here. It connects the rear axle to the body. See, there's another one, extra oil reservoir. Well, it doesn't have it on the G500. It's only available on G63. But once you have the option on G500, it's going to be installed. You have to ask for the dealership to install it. And this generation, it doesn't offer the tow bar. It doesn't come with the tow bar. You have to install it afterwards from the dealership. But they have this little hook, and it connected directly to the ladder frame. And this bar right here, the aluminum bar right here, because the magnetic thing doesn't really stay on it. But for this, the magnetic thing will stick onto the ladder frame. But this thing is aluminum. It doesn't really stick to it. And this thing is also aluminum. This thing is still also aluminum. And everything else, the ladder frame is gonna be, stick on it. All right, we've jacked up this outgoing model G63 AMG on the rack, and let's see the suspension and ladder frame looks underneath. Let's start from the front. See, there's a steel plate to protect the front. And here is the front differential lock. Let's see here, it's, I can't really rate it. It's a rigid front axle. There is no doubt about it. The springs right there, and the transmission right there on the top of the rigid front axle. This is the transfer case. And this is the linkage in between. This is the second linkage in between. Oh, this is the transfer case, actually. This is the transfer case, transfer the power from to the front and the rear axles. This place is really empty right here, right in the middle. It's different from the from the current model, the brand new model. The brand new model, this has the gas tank right here. One is on the right and one is on the left. And this is the rear axle differential locks. You can't really see the connection to the body or the frame from this angle because we got a giant gas tank above this steel plate. I've driven this car for 6 years and it looks pretty good, even though there's some anti-corrosion paint has gone, but it doesn't really matter. There's a plate staying in this. This is actually the same brand, same thing with the front axle. And there's a little bit of corrosion right here. Overall, it's in a great shape. say that the spare tire is above the rear view camera, so it's really easy to damage the spare wheel cover. But there is a right line. There's a right line right here that indicates how far the spare tire is away from the wall. So you just pay attention to this right line here. So let's just try to park this car the right line towards the wall, vertical angle right here. Let's just try it. Okay, let's back up, back up, back up, back up. When the right line meets the vertical angle right here, okay, so that's pretty much the limit. And let's find out what happens in the back. Okay, so there is really a lot of space from the right line when the right line meets the vertical point. It's approximately like, you see, there is 30 centimeters away from the wall. So as long as you try to use the right reference line, it will be fine. When you try to back up, you won't, damage the spare wheel with the barrier or anything else. So for the infotainment system, it got a navigation, radio, and multimedia, and phone, and connect, and also the car. In the car selection, we have the seats. It's just not very convenient for the driver to adjust the seats or do the massage, all that kind of things. It's really hard for the driver while he's driving, but it's good for the co-driver. You can adjust the driver's seats and also the co-driver seats massage. For the air conditioning, you can control the front and also the rear. So for dynamic select, so we can actually change everything here, from sports, moderate, transmission, suspension, exhaust system, ESP. For the suspension, you can change into comfort, sport, sport plus. For the exhaust, you can change into balanced or even powerful. For transmission, this is manual. For driving mode, you got moderate, sport, dynamic, reduced. By the way, they have this, menus in English and also in Chinese. That's going to be a problem for some older people, because they don't really speak English, they don't recognize English. It would be better for them to actually change those menus into Chinese. That would be better. And here have some readings from the engine. Also others, the wheels angle and which direction we're facing, and what's the incline of the slope. So it's just got everything. So we change the ambient light right here. We can change into white. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's just the white. You can change into red, cyan, green, and yellow. It's really hard to tell, right? I think the blue is the best one, because you can actually see from the camera. So for this, you got whole selection from the Sport, Classic layout, Advanced layout. So it got all sorts of selections, preferences. Really depends on how you like it to be laid out.